Diligently working in the peaceful country yard, the young woman begins her familiar task. With each steady turn of the screwdriver, she removes the cover of the time-worn box fan. The silent copper coils are exposed, waiting to be awakened by her skilled hands. She quietly inspects it, her eyes reflecting intense focus. A decisive snip of the scissors cuts away the tangled wires, preparing for a renewed vitality. And then the fan spins rapidly once more, bringing the small joy of a successful repair. In the distance, rural life continues peacefully alongside a flock of white ducks. The grandmother works diligently in the corner of the garden, gathering fresh sweet potato leaves to feed the livestock. With swift steps, the young woman brings her tools, ready for a new task. Warm greetings ring out, promising to fix a broken item. From the corner of the old storage room, a dust-covered fan is brought out into the light. She lifts the fan up and brings it to her familiar workspace. The toolbox is brought over, carrying the hope of restoration. Lively village chatter blends with the simple sounds of labor. The bundles of tender green sweet potato leaves are the fruits of a hard-working morning. A piece of cardboard is carefully laid out to create a neat workspace. Her nimble hands quickly tidy up, preparing for the upcoming surgery. A bright yellow coil is taken out, ready to be wired into the circuit. The bulky fan is flipped over, exposing the dusty screws. The power cord is untangled, paving the way for further inspection. The toolbox is opened, the mechanic's treasure chest filled with all sorts of tools. A cute little red stool becomes her seat for hours of hard work. Choosing a very long screwdriver, she begins the dismantling process. The ducks continue to play carelessly in the pond, oblivious to the hustle on the bank. With each patient turn, every screw slowly leaves its old place. The task of removing the screws is no easy feat, requiring both strength and finesse. The screwdriver tip reaches deep into narrow gaps, patiently finding a solid grip. Her small but decisive hands overcome the stubbornness of the screws. Each screw that comes out is an obstacle removed. The long, bulky screw finally gives way and comes out. The plug is connected to the power for a test run to accurately diagnose the problem. On the banks of the canal, the steady rhythm of footsteps carrying loads passes by. Back to the fan, she diligently removes the final retaining clips. Sweat beads on her forehead, but her eyes never leave the target. Finally, the bulky front cover is lifted off the fan. The heart of the fan, the silent motor block, is now exposed. Her sharp eyes scan over every coil, looking for signs of damage. Another toolbox is opened, bringing out a multimeter. The test leads are carefully untangled, preparing to check the patient's pulse. Each probe tip touches the connection points, searching for a faint current. The multimeter screen stays lifeless, and the final diagnosis is confirmed. The problem is clear. She puts away the testing tools to proceed with the repair. Now it's time for a complete teardown. To access the motor block directly, the front fan guard clips are loosened one by one. Even though she is experienced, the work still demands constant meticulousness. As the screwdriver turns, the front armor gradually loosens. The cage cover is lifted off, revealing the fan blades, covered in the dust of time. The blade nut is twisted counterclockwise to loosen it. The fan blade is set aside, making way for a deeper operation. Using scissors to cut the tight zip ties, she frees the motor wiring harness, preparing a specialized screwdriver, heading straight into the motor casing. The tiny screwdriver tip goes in, removing the final protective screws of the motor. A rusted, stuck screw stalls the process, requiring a little trick. Relentless effort finally pays off. Using a strong pull, the heavy motor block officially separates from the base. A bright smile, a joke dispels the fatigue. The bulky fan frame is set aside, creating a clear workspace. The heart of the motor is dissected. The magnetic core and the coil are separated. The old coil is discolored from heat, having fulfilled its mission. A brand new copper coil is taken out, bringing new vitality. The protective plastic layer is cut off, careful as if welcoming a new life. The gleaming gold of the copper promises powerful rotations. The new coil is fitted tightly into the frame, replacing its predecessor. The wire ends are skillfully routed, preparing for a secure connection, not forgetting to clean. The rotor shaft is carefully wiped with a soft cloth. All dirt and rust are wiped away, ensuring perfect smoothness. Each drop of lubricant is carefully applied to lubricate the moving parts. The dry bearings are now infused with life, not missing any detail. The rear bearing is also thoroughly lubricated. The rotor is test-fitted into the base, ready to spin freely in the new lubricant. A little oil added to the front shaft, ensuring maximum smoothness, wiping away the excess oil to keep the motor completely clean. A perfect combination. The rotor sits snugly inside the stator coil. The casing cover is put on, protecting the sensitive copper coils. Gentle taps nudge the joints into the right place, tightening the screws in a cross pattern, securely locking the motor block. The screwdriver turns powerfully, ensuring the motor won't vibrate, double-checking by hand. The shaft spins smoothly and perfectly. The revived motor block is set down, awaiting the moment of reunion. The wire ends of the electrical circuit thread through the crevices of the plastic cover. The grandmother quietly sweeping the porch, a peaceful countryside scene, tying the wire bundle neatly, avoiding entanglement with the high-speed fan blades, needing more tools for the wiring stage. The toolbox is opened again. The ferrules, small copper tubes bearing the responsibility of connecting the vanes. Securing the motor block firmly to the fan frame base, threading the plastic zip ties back, and arranging the electrical wiring neatly, cutting off the excess wire ends, ensuring neatness for the connections. The wire stripper works rhythmically, clipping and stripping off the plastic insulation behind her back. The farmer passes by, tending to the fruit trees near the garden. Nimble hands swiftly strip each wire end, the rhythm of a skilled mechanic. Each pair of matching wires is twisted together, tightly twisted to complete the circuit. A skillful connection. Connecting the lifeline from the motor to the electrical control board, reaching out to find the small box containing the armor for the connections. Vibrant orange plastic wire nuts. Guards protecting the safe, insulated connections. Carefully capping each nut to seal it tightly, eliminating any exposed wires. A decisive squeeze with the pliers, firmly securing the copper core inside the plastic sleeve. The remaining connections are safely covered and made incredibly secure. Patient hands tightly twist the final cable, ensuring no current is missed, repeating the process of applying insulation caps, preventing any risk of short circuits later, double-checking all contact points, ensuring the electrical circuits won't snap, screwing the circuit board back into its original position, restoring neatness to the control board. The hardest part is over. The girl stands up and stretches her body. Nature around us goes on as usual, like a swarm of diligent ants climbing on the leaves. The alligator clips tightly grip the battery terminals, anxiously waiting for the decisive moment. The fan shaft spins wildly, a miraculous revival. The power is temporarily disconnected. A satisfied smile appears on the mechanic's lips. Now it's time to put the fan's cover back on. The rotating fan grill is fitted in. The large fan blade is also mounted onto the shaft, restoring its familiar old shape. Tightly screwing the reverse thread lock nut to secure the fan blade to the motor core. The rear casing is lifted to enclose the back, safely protecting the rotating core. The screwdriver dances once again, tightening the screws on the clamp ring holding the plastic casing. Every corner and every countersunk hole is firmly secured with deeply driven screws. Being careful is never a waste to ensure the fan grill doesn't wobble. Finally, the circular front frame is tightly fitted onto the narrow white mesh grill. Pressing firmly, the front panel latches snap obediently into the exact slots. Placing back the tool tray, she looks for small clips to prepare for the final touches. With even turns, screwing the remaining clips onto the outer ring of the fan's face. The long screwdriver once again proves useful, poking into the narrow gaps of the inner ring. The outermost exposed wires are also wrapped and clamped to avoid being tangled and unsightly. The last screw is finally put in, completing the entire structure of the fan. The girl lifts the fan onto the pedestal, admiring the result of her tiring hard work. The power cord is once again connected to the battery, preparing for the performance. The grill spins rapidly, blowing a strong breeze, carrying the mechanic's pride. Lifting the power battery and putting it away in a corner, she starts cleaning up the space. Tools are gathered and dropped into the toolbox, wiping the sweat off her hands, feet, and face. The electrical tape and oily rag are also carefully stored in the drawer. The toolbox lid is closed and latched with a click, wrapping up a perfectly successful major overhaul. Relieved, she stretches and carries the toolbox as the elegant garden mechanic turns to head home. Her small silhouette fades on the peaceful dike path, bringing a peaceful day to a close.